start clapping and cheering and whooping, please welcome Mabel Slattery.
Hello, nice to be here. I am indeed Mabel Slattery. Just a disclaimer, if you haven't seen me before, I do have a bit of a stammer. So, I don't know, just try and think of it as 10% extra for free, and thank fuck I'm not a compare. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about myself, because fuck it, I'm the eldest of 5 children. I get zero attention otherwise. Seriously, I could walk into my kitchen and just go, Mum, I got the test results back. I've got 3 weeks to live. And she goes, so does that mean you can babysit the kids next Tuesday? But yeah, my mum is actually brilliant because my mum's an academic, and this means that she is beautifully out of touch with the world at large. Really good example of this. My mum bought my 15-year-old sister for 50 Shades of Grey by accident. Now, I can let you in on how this works. My sister, no, not a big reader. She goes to my mum, I'd like a book, please. And my mum sort of goes, all right, what book? And she goes, well, I'll give you a choice. I either want Love and Other Pursuits or 50 Shades of Grey. And my mum literally thinks, well, Love and Other Pursuits sounds a bit dirty. 50 Shades of Grey sounds nice and boring. I can't have her. But eventually, obviously, she did have to find out what it contained. Well, I say she found out what it contained. We basically just got together one night, got a load of booze, and just started reading out passages to her. But this is the beautiful thing about my mum, because my mum's an ecologist, and so, you know, she's a scientist, very pragmatic. Sex isn't sex to my mum, it's reproduction, which maybe explains to all the children. But you know, she doesn't think about sex in the same way. She's really naive and innocent. She's a beautiful woman. She didn't understand half of the stuff that was going on in that book. Seriously, trying to explain reverse cowgirl to your own mother, one of the most horrible moments of my life. But yeah, I'm going to talk about me. I think the most important thing about me at the moment is that I recently finished uni. I went to uni at Falmouth, which is now Falmouth Uni. I mean, are there any Falmouth students in, or just a couple? Yeah. Now, I hate to mention this, but you do realise that it now being able to say that you went to an arts university isn't going to change what it is, which is basically a more acceptable way of saying that we never left preschool. I myself majored in plasticines. I mean, I wanted to read Lego, but they cut that course because so many art students were just choking on the pieces. Now, you may laugh, but I've lost a lot of good friends to Lego and to stickle bricks. But yeah, but yes, I'm of course joking. I actually have a degree in English with creative writing, which I can tell you is about as useless as any qualification in Lego. Basically, I can write in iambic pentameter and very little else. But I can tell you that Don't Be Such a Stupid Fucking Cunt is an iambic pentameter, and if that's not awesome, I don't know what is. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, so as you can imagine, I'm finding it quite hard to find a job I can do. But I think that's partly because, like, my skill set kind of renders me completely out of step with today's job market. I mean, you know, I can read fluent Middle English and I have a beautiful calligraphy with a dip pen, but I'm not sure that monk in the 14th century is likely to come up on the job centre website anytime soon. So I'm still living in hope, mind you. Just every day checking, come on, damn. But you know, I think at the moment it was kind of like loads of stuff ended for me. So like, so finished university. I also got dumped recently. Now I feel a bit iffy doing material about this. Like, not for any moral reason, but the last time I did material about being dumped, which was the last time I was dumped, surprisingly enough. This really creepy old guy came up to me afterwards and tried to give me his number. And, you know, I'm not quite sure what I did to prompt this, because me getting up here and talking about being dumped is clearly a stand-up set and not some kind of live Lonely Hearts advert. You know, and let's face it, even if it was, what kind of mentalist would you have to be to go for me based on the kind of shit I talk about? Because, you know, if you distilled what I do stand-up about into a Lonely Hearts ad, what you get is this. Misanthropic, angry, stammering medievalist seeks good-looking, intellectually intimidating man for hedonistic, nerdy sex. Won't be able to say your name, much less scream it during intercourse. And will always find the social and linguistic implications of the 1348 Black Death far more interesting than you. Those without a sound knowledge of the French Revolution or continuum hypothesis need not apply. Now, the thing is, that there are guys that ad applies to, but the thing is that they're not going to be at a comedy night. You know, the perfect guy for me is probably out there somewhere, you know, probably at home reading Dante and, you know, the original Italian. That makes me so happy. Just knowing he's out there. No, but you know, I think, like the worst bit, I think, about being dumped wasn't the dumping itself. It was my friend's reaction to it. Because my friends are, in the main, well-meaning fucking idiots. And I say that with all the love in the world. You know, but you know, because they, you know, saw that I'd not, and they decided to cheer me up. They decided that I should go out looking for love again. And to do this, they just took me to a nightclub. Now, without sort of realising that you don't find love in a nightclub. You find twats, slags, and hitherto undiscovered strains of chlamydia in a nightclub. But you know, in any case, what my friends failed to realise is that the normal modes of dating just don't apply to me. You know, you can't just get the kind of guy I like a drink, because that would be a serious breach of library rules. But you know, I think, but the worst bit, the very worst bit was the platitudes. You know, the nonsense. Really shouldn't have put this word in a stand-up set. Nonsensical ramblings of, you know, fucking morons with good intentions. All the love in the world. But you know, things like, oh, well, it's his loss. Well, yes, he dumped me. You know, clearly losing me was part of the plan. It's not less his loss and more his jettison. But you know, or the worst one, the very worst. Woe betide you ever say this to someone who's been dumped. Well, everything happens for a reason. But because yes it does. But the reason comes first. These people have clearly just not grasped the very simple concept of cause and effect. You know, people don't talk about the First World War and say, well, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot, which you know, set off a chain of events leading to the most, you know, bloody and disgusting war to that day. But barbed wire really took off. I guess everything happens for a reason. So now when people say, with regards to my breakup, well, everything happens for a reason, I say, funnily enough, yes it did. He was a dick. But yeah, like I say, lots of different things ended, and one thing that came to an end was I finally finished speech therapy. I've been going to speech therapy for 18 months, and as you can see, it did its fucking job. Yeah, I love that. And speech therapy is a really weird thing. No, not least because whenever you tend to go there, you tend to go for the thing that you find hardest to say. So, for example, the word stammer, ridiculously hard if you've got a stammer. Lisp, and the worst one I found recently, roticism. Guess what that is? Can't say your R's. This is what cements my view that speech therapists are inherently evil. But you know, speech therapy is weird because, like, first, you know, you say, what do you think happens in speech therapy, and everyone goes, well, talking, you know, they'll teach you to talk. Which isn't actually the case. Like, the first thing they do, like, before they get onto the fluency techniques, before they get onto any of that, is they teach you to learn to cope with your stammer, you know, to live with it as it is, which I admittedly thought was a bit of a cop-out on the part of my speech therapist. You know, since when have you ever gone into A&E and had the consultant say, well, yes, we've looked at your X-ray and your leg is broken, but we're not going to fix it until you've learned to live in harmony with it. But, you know, I think that it's another thing that they do, this is really common in speech therapy when you're a kid. And I never went to speech therapy when I was a kid, but I know my speech therapist says it, and I know lots of speech therapists that do. It's going through the famous people that stand. Now, I've done this joke before, and there's always someone who shouts out, Gareth Gates! Now, you know, not that he hasn't done loads for stammering awareness, but listen to my list and you'll see quite why he doesn't really fit. They tell you about all the famous people who stammered. So Marilyn Monroe, Winston Churchill, King George VI, Darwin, Newton, Galileo. Kind of see where he doesn't fit in there. and Gareth Gates, why not? But you know, and when you're little, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. You know, this is great. You think I could do anything. You know. When you get a bit older, everything just like that just makes you feel like a drastic underachiever. You know, Galileo discovered the moons of Jupiter. All I've discovered is that the words to that Toys R Us theme tune aren't actually "There's millions of Jeffreys all under one roof." And I can tell you, I was very disappointed. But you know, like I've come up with a way of fixing this mind. You know, I think, you know, I know that a small pub in Falmouth is not really the greatest place to be, you know, declaring your major policy intentions. But you know, I think we can try it. It might get to someone somewhere. But I've come up with this idea, and I think it would really work. It's very simple. In adult speech therapy departments. Just a simple book entitled "Stammerers Who've Done Shitter Than You." You know, murderers, adulterers, and drug addicts all in one book. What could fail to make you feel better about yourself as a stammerer than that? Although I do have my see, another word that is going to be horrible to get through, but this is why I write these things. You've just come in and you've just kind of gone, what the fuck? Someone change her microphone! Reservations about see, I got there in the end. Reservations about it, simply because I think that, you know, I fear the day when a stammerer goes into speech therapy and they get sat down and shown this book. They turn a page and go, and there's Mabel Slattery. You can't do worse than her. She has a degree in English creative writing. Thank you very much for having me. You've been absolutely lovely. I've been Mabel Slattery.
Mabel, everyone. We're going to have one more quick break before we reveal who has won the shittest Christmas.